Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah, coming to you guys in California. Before I begin, give all praise to Most High Yahweh, acknowledgement to Earthly Mother. Who is wisdom? Who is Holy Spirit? Acknowledge Yahweh Shai. I pray the Most High blesses this lesson this evening, gives more knowledge and understanding of the events of the past, in order to understand events that are currently happening on the earth, so we get a much better understanding of the things that are soon to come on the earth. Well, since today they want to honor Columbus, and they also want to try to switch that up and change it to Indigenous Day, I think it's appropriate to see who are the true indigenous people to the lands. Who are the ancient Mexicans? It's very important because, like I said, you're going to understand through prophecy that the Most High destroyed his people and his people lost their identity. But see, now that we are awakening, we are going to get our identity back. You will see more of us going around and saying, you know what? That's ours. We're those people. We're the ancient people of these lands. Now, they've been so, gung-ho and working so hard to, put up other people in our position. Now, we know that, hey, there's going to be Israelites in every single group. But what is consistent that you always see is all these other groups trying to exclude us so-called black people. When I had that discussion with the guy at the Indigenous Day event, he tried to push the whole, well, Africa's waking up too. Like, he's like, well, we're waking up here in the Aztecs, but, in the Aztecs lands, but Africa, they're having a movement too, and Africa is becoming more spiritual. And like trying to say that I'm African, I'm like I told him, I'm not African. Our people were already here. And he kind of, didn't know how to kind of take that. But it didn't look like he hadn't really known it. I think he was just surprised that I knew it. And that's what's going to happen. Like, a lot of people know a lot of this stuff already, but they've all made agreements to not disclose it. If the Most High shows it to us, hey, that's great. But we're not going to get anyone confirming it from the other people, from the other nations. They love being us. They love taking the things that the Most High gave us and using it and then making it seem as if they are the experts in all these different fields. The Most High gave knowledge and understanding, to our people, how to use the plants, how to live the right way here on the earth, how to, work with the animals, how to work, with the times of the year, how to work with the stars, how to work, with the Most High and the angels. That's the Most High taught us how to do that, and then we disseminated that information to the nations. That's order. The Most High would give the information to us, and the Gentiles would come to us, and we would work hand in hand together. But everyone wants to bypass us as a people, put us at the bottom, and then elevate themselves into these positions as if they are the ones that have always been the so-called Mexicans, or they were the only ones that have been the so-called natives. We're going to take a look at who the Spaniards encountered when they came to these lands. In shows and movies are always showing these light-skinned natives, these light-skinned Aztecs. But when you look in older books, they don't look like the natives you see today. They don't look like the Aztecs you see today. Now, we understand that, like I said, there's going to be a mix. I'm not saying that they're not those people aren't our people either. But what I am saying is that they are confederate with not allowing us to be, part of their groups. Natives are like, oh, no, man. The Europeans, oh, yeah, man, hey, we're universal. Hey, we accept everybody. Oh, you black? Oh, you so black? Oh, no, man, you're African. You're African. You're African. They're all pushing that African stuff on us. But all the while, they're trying to say that they're being inclusive and they're accepting and they're being universal. Like, oh, we make our stuff for everyone. But you're African. Your people are waking up over there in Africa. No, man, our people are waking up right here. We were going to be awakened in the lands of our captivities. We were captives on our own lands. The Hebrews had the best lands worldwide. You can't tell me that here in the Americas, from the north to the south, isn't some of the best lands in the world. That was given to us when, from Noah, and it was to be given to our children forever. The other nations, Ham got the hot lands, Japheth got the cold lands. Okay, but Shem, he got the lands with the seasons, the best lands, and that's why they loved us going down, so they get their opportunity to enjoy our blessing for a time. But let me show you who the original or the ancient Mexicans, as they called them, were and what they looked like. Now look, this information is from 1671. You're looking at more primary sources. So this is much more trustworthy than what they're showing you on television today. Got a lot of people, a lot of imposters going out here acting as if they have been the Aztecs forever. They've been the Mayans forever. When I told the guy, I said, look, man, when you look, I was having a discussion with him. He tried to say Africa. I'm like, bruh, if you look at the pictures in the pyramids here in the Americas, they're depicting people that look like us so-called Negroes. When you go to Palenque, and you look at my old, you just look it up, because in my old videos talking about that, and they had stories in the 1800s talking about the statues that they found in Palenque of so-called Negroes that were there. Then all of a sudden that information just disappeared. They've been hiding. This is going to be the greatest secret ever discovered. And it's already being revealed. The Most High's already given us this information to reveal it to the world. Now, if people want to accept it, hey, that's up to you. If you want to, but the truth is the truth. So look at the bottom right here. So it's giving a little information about this picture you're about to see in a minute. Concerning the Mexicans' apparel, talk about the ancient Mexicans and what we used to wear. Okay, it is a sufficient testimony that they are no way of the same original with the several barbarous nations that run up and down naked in New Spain. See, you came up across different groups, different tribes. You got certain people just running around naked, but you try to make it sound like everyone was like that, because you don't want the world to know how advanced these people were. So, for the inhabitants of Mexico went anciently clothed in cotton. On their heads they wore a high plume of red feathers about their necks, over their shoulders, breast, and back, a kind of large thorax of feathers, curiously pleated, each arm adorned with armlets, and their middles girt with broad white girdles full of red streaks. Instead of garters, they wore laces of feathers, as also a little above their ankles. Their priest besmeared all their bodies, especially the head, with an ointment, whose special virtue was to make their hair grow exceeding long, which they braided with broad cotton strings. They also smudged themselves with a kind of blacking stuff, because when they went to make offerings to their idol in caves, okay, woods or on high mountains. That's like the same things with the Druids. They would go out to the woods, high places, caves. They would be by themselves, right? Same thing the Hebrews do, okay? So they bedewed themselves with an ointment made of spiders, salamanders, adders, scorpions, and toads, which the temple boys caught for them in great abundance. This ointment they made with many circumstances, for having roasted the aforementioned vermin on the hearth of the perpetual fire before Vitziputzli's altar, and stamped the same in a mortar with tobacco, living scorpions, the seed, okay, Olachuki, to which they ascribed a power of representing visions. Okay, so kind of give a little bit more information. But let's see what these ancient Mexicans looked like. How were they depicted in 1671? This is what the ancient Mexicans look like. This is how they went around in attire right here. This is what they look like. Looks much different than what you're seeing today. Now, I know that because whoever the Most High is waking up at this point, that's who he's dealing with. We're going to be mixed. We're not going to all look the same at this point. Okay? So the Most High knows who are his people and who's not. So many people who are being awakened don't all look like this. We already know that. All right? He's waking up Israelites. He's also waking up Gentiles. He's waking up whoever he's dealing with. And we have to understand that. But what we have to understand also is that the ancient people that they keep trying to push Africa on were the ones that looked just like this that the Spaniards encountered when they came to Mexico. When they came and took down the ancient Mexicans, the people look like this. But see, it's like they're all Confederate. We're making it seem like we are not the people. They'll accept all these, so-called Europeans. They're Cherokee. Oh, we're Cherokee. We got Cherokee in our blood. But they look like they're Europeans. They have no problem accepting that. But they have a harder time when it's a so-called Negro or so-called black person saying, I'm the Aborigine. I'm the one that was here first. Then they have a hard time with that. But it would make sense because if you've taken oaths and you got to make sure that this specific group of people never knows who they are, then you understand why all of them try to say that, no, you're not the people. Oh, you're trying to steal someone else's heritage. You're trying to steal someone else's, history. When that's exactly what's happened to us. So just take a real good look at how they depicted the ancient Mexicans, how they depicted the people that the Spaniards ran into and encountered when they got here. Now, you show me, there are pictures of other natives who look like natives of today. And I'm not saying that they weren't here. I'm sure that they were, because there's going to be a mix. Just like there's a mix now of people that looks different, that would have been the same thing back then. They're not all going to look exactly the same. But what I am, so if there was a mix back then, why is it like all of a sudden now you can't have a mix of natives now? They all got to be a specific group of people. And when so-called black people, as you call them, try to say that they're natives, you guys have an issue with that. But if you look in the book, the vast majority of the natives, the Aborigines, the original people, look like this. So this is what they look like. Okay? So this is the book right here. It's been for sale for a long time. America being the latest, okay, and most accurate description. And as you can see right there, that's the book right there. This one has all the other books. The one I have has a lot of pages cut out. So I'm sure that this one is so expensive because probably a lot of those pictures that are cut out are still in this book. Because if you try to buy this one here, that's like probably got all the other stuff that's been cut out and hidden. You're going to have to drop $58,500 for this book. But you can see, we can already see all this information and showing you what the ancient Mexicans look like in 1671. So you imagine what else is in there that they cut out. The pages that they've hidden. So again, this is from 1671. So I'm going to take the book from 1671 as being a lot more accurate than what they're trying to show me today. Because there's an agenda. It's much harder to push that agenda back then because our people still knew who they were. There still were people who knew who the Israelites were. But as you get further and further away, it's easier to lie. This is why, our designations have always been changing, because they're always working to hide who we are. This is the beginning right here of the book. Many people have already seen this, but some people haven't. This is what the ancient original people looked like. So when you understand that you got all these people, look, guys, you're making your choices right now. You're standing with this world. You're standing with Ish. You're standing with the so-called Middle East. You're standing with the whole matrix that they have set up. You're staying with that, and you're going to roll with that, or you're going to turn away from Babylon and you're going to start to embrace the truth. You're going to start to embrace the true people. Hey, you're not going to hear you're going to hear nothing but crickets trying to explain this information. They're just going to stay quiet. So they're not even trying to like deny or try to like, hey, that's not true. That's not what they really look like. Okay, well, show me something else from 1671 that shows otherwise. Staying silent now at this point is not a response. Staying silent is not, defending your position. Staying silent reveals the fact that you have no recourse. That's all that's showing now. So when we read this, woe to the shepherds who destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture. That's what they've done. They've destroyed us as a people, kept us away from our covenant, and also destroyed the knowledge of who we are as a people. This is the Lord's declaration. Therefore, this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says about the shepherds who shepherd my people. You have scattered my flock, banished them, and have not attended to them. You guys have banished us. You're not native. This isn't your land. You aren't the people. You banished us from our blessing. You banished us from our position. You banished us from our lands. You've given our blessings to another. There's going to be a consequence to this. Okay? So again, you have scattered my flock, banished them, and have not attended to them. Taken everything away from us and gave it to everyone else. You have not attended to the Most High's people. I will attend to you because of your evil acts. So the Most High is now going to take care of you for what you've been doing. Staying silent, hey man, that's not going to be good either. So when you're crying out to the Most High, later on, he's going to do exactly what you're doing to him, to his people. He's going to stay silent when you're going to be going through your rough ways. That's what he did to us. He stayed silent when we were crying out to him until we paid for the sins of our fathers. Okay? This is the Lord's declaration. I will gather the remnant of my flock from all the lands where I have banished them, and I will return them to their grazing land. They will become fruitful and numerous. I will raise up shepherds over them, who will shepherd them. They will no longer be afraid or dismayed, nor will any be missing. This is the Lord's declaration. We are not African American. We are the true people of these lands. This is showing you, this is why these books are so expensive. They never wanted you to get your hands on this information, but the Most High made sure that we were going to get our hands on it. He didn't want, the other nations were just trying their best to enjoy themselves, and the only way they could do it is by keeping us asleep, keeping us in their churches, keeping us praying for them, keeping us praying for their gods, keeping us praying for their dead saints. But that has all now come to an end. So now you got a chance to see how in 1671 the ancient Mexicans were depicted. And it's totally different from what you're seeing today. All praise, Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to Earthly Mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Shalom.